Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. Additionally, consider subscribing to my Patreon to get access to these features, and much more.
My name's Tucker, and there's this event that totally flipped my sex life upside down. And trust me, it's a good flip. It all kicked off last Halloween when Tina, my girlfriend, dropped the bombshell that we snagged an invite to a Halloween bash. Now, I'm not really the costume party type, but I told her I'd tag along as long as I didn't have to rack my brain for a costume. She was cool with that, didn't bring it up again till the day of the shindig. I had pretty much forgotten all about it, lounging on the couch catching some football when Tina strolled in, asking if I was ready to gear up for the party. "It's only 3 o'clock, I shot back. "When's this thing starting anyway?" "Not till 8, but getting you into your costume is gonna take some time," she replied, a smirk playing on her lips. I couldn't help but wonder what kind of get-up takes 5 hours to slap on, but she wouldn't spill the beans, just kept chirping, "It's a surprise." With a sigh, I dragged myself up and headed for a shower. After scrubbing down and shaving, Tina insisted I close my eyes as she guided me into our bedroom. I kept them shut tight while she got to work decking me out. At first, I had no clue what my mischievous sweetheart was up to. Then, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I peeked and yup, my suspicions were bang on. My cheeky girlfriend had decided to doll me up as a lady for this bash, and when Tina commits, she goes all in. I grumbled a bit, but she reminded me it was my bright idea to let her pick the costumes. What choice did I have? I was in for the whole shebang. Tina was gonna fan me up from head to toe. Before I knew it, I was cinched into a white Victorian corset, complete with garters holding up silk stockings, a matching lace bra and thong combo, and a pair of white pumps with a 3-inch heel. And let me tell you, Tina didn't stop there. She had me sashaying around the room to get the hang of walking in those heels. I nearly face-planted at first, but surprisingly, I caught on quick. Then, to my utter disbelief, she busts out a couple of water balloons, saying, "You definitely need some curves." She stuffed them into the bra and jiggled them around until she was satisfied with the silhouette. I couldn't believe it. The whole situation was getting me all worked up. I was dying to see myself in the mirror, but Tina wouldn't let me. "Not until you're all dolled up," she'd say. She marched me over to her makeup station and got to work on my mug. Like I said, when it comes to this stuff, Tina doesn't do half measures. My face got the full treatment: mascara, eyeshadow, lipstick, you name it. Next, she had me extend my hands as she began gluing on long artificial nails, finishing them off with a lavender-colored polish. Her final touch to my transformation was a wig strawberry blonde and slightly longer than shoulder length. She brushed my hair until finally stepping back and declaring, "Finish." Leading me over to the mirror, she asked for my thoughts. I couldn't believe what I saw. The reflection staring back at me wasn't mine, it belonged to a woman. Adorned in all that sultry lingerie, I couldn't help but feel a significant bulge in my panties. She had me practice walking some more while she made her own changes. I called out to her, "Tina, there's no way I'm going out like this, only in this." She chuckled, hinting that she had something special in store. Once more, she had me shut my eyes as she slipped the dress over my head. It felt incredibly soft and silky, leaving me eager to see it. After Tina zipped me up, she stepped back and instructed, "Open your eyes, honey." My gaze first landed on Tina, clad in a grey tuxedo. Then, I turned to the mirror. I was donning the most exquisite wedding gown I had ever laid eyes on. We were hitting the party as bride and groom, just with a twist. Thankfully, we had a door from our house that led straight into the garage. I could feel my cheeks burning as we got into the car. Tina took the wheel, naturally. Once we were out of our neighborhood, my nerves settled a bit. Even if someone I knew spotted me now, they wouldn't recognize me. As we arrived at the party, I found myself really getting into the swing of things. Maybe it was the several strong drinks, or perhaps it was the sensation of my satin and lace gown brushing against my silk-covered legs, but I was feeling hotter than ever before. especially when Tina and I hit the dance floor. The rush was indescribable. We called it a night around midnight, but not before I snagged $250 for best costume. On the way home, we decided to pick up a bottle of champagne. As Tina stepped out of the car, she leaned back in and beckoned, "Come on." We both strolled into the liquor store. She did all the talking while I tried to stifle a giggle. I don't think the kid behind the counter even realized I was the man. We were both so fired up and ready to go by the time we made it back home. Barely stepping foot inside, we were all over each other. We plopped down on the couch, filled our glasses, but before we could even take more than a couple sips, Tina's hand was sneaking down my leg, sliding up under my dress. She started working her magic on my rock-solid member through the silk panties, then deftly lifted my gown to access the prize. I was beyond turned on as she took me deep into her mouth, stroking my legs clad in silk. I exploded with such force, Tina almost choked. She then helped me up, slowly unzipping my gown until it pooled at my feet. Stepping out of it, I pulled Tina close. She was already bare, while I still wore every scrap of lingerie. We headed to our bedroom, where Tina took charge. Pushing me onto the bed, she wasted no time straddling me. Guiding my once again eager member into her dripping wet pussy, we fucked like never before, reaching heights of heat and passion I'd never imagined. Afterward, we lay there utterly spent, drenched in sweat. Then, to my surprise, Tina started removing my lingerie, much to my unexpected disappointment. We showered together, and once again, we were at it in the shower, but it paled in comparison to our earlier frenzy. How could this be? I yearned to feel that silky lingerie against my skin once more, but I couldn't bring myself to tell Tina. I had only just experienced it for the first time that night, and already, I was hooked. After we finished drying off, Tina instructed me to wait in the bathroom while she retrieved something from the dresser. Soon enough, she returned, clad in a stunning long black silk nightgown with red lace detailing around the neckline. "Do you like it?" she asked, turning to give me a full view of how it hugged her curves in all the right places. "You look amazing," I complimented her, but to my surprise, instead of thanking me, she retorted, "I didn't ask how I looked, I asked if you like the nightgown." Taken aback, I assured her, "Yes, I like it. It's gorgeous." She smiled, then added, "Good, because I got one just like it for you." She disappeared back into our room and returned with an identical gown and a matching pair of silk panties. Almost instantly, my cock sprang to attention, a fact not lost on Tina. "I knew it," she said with a grin, "just the thought of wearing this turns you on." My fears eased as I saw the amusement in Tina's eyes. Without hesitation, I slipped on the panties and pulled the new nightgown over my head. The sensation of the silk cascading over my body nearly drove me over the edge. We slipped into bed, holding each other tight, our matching nightgowns brushing against one another. Soon, we drifted off into a deep slumber, marking the end of the first day of our transformed sex lives. When we awoke, the heat and passion from the night before surged back to life, enveloping us once again. We had stumbled upon a whole new realm of sexual exploration. It's been over a month since the party, and Tina and I haven't slowed down in our exploration of our newfound pleasure. I now have a collection of nightgowns along with various other pieces of lingerie. Tina stumbled upon an ad for a store specializing in clothing for his feminine desires, as it boldly claimed. We're gearing up to check it out next weekend. Tina's eager to expand my wardrobe, but finding the right sizes has posed a challenge. Despite the store being about 100 miles away, she's convinced it's worth the journey since they allow fittings. I, for one, can hardly contain my excitement at the thought of actually trying on anything I fancy. As planned, Tina and I ventured to the specialty store, and let me tell you, it was quite the experience. Arriving around 5 p.m., we began perusing the racks. Initially drawn to the array of dresses up front, we soon found ourselves in the rear, surrounded by racks upon racks of lingerie. Tina eagerly plucked one item after another, holding them up to me for inspection. After a while, the salesgirl, Ellie, approached us and offered her assistance. Tina explained our predicament, and without hesitation, Ellie guided us to the fitting rooms. I felt a tad embarrassed as I gathered an armful of lingerie to try on, but Ellie quickly put me at ease by handing me a pink lace teddy, saying, "I think you'll like this one." I must have tried on what felt like 100 different pieces, okay, maybe more like 20. Just as I finished trying on my last selection, the lace teddy Ellie had recommended, Tina entered the dressing room. She appraised me from head to toe and remarked, "She was right, that one looks absolutely stunning on you." Tina then informed me that the store was closing, but Ellie had kindly offered to let us stay as long as we pleased. Feeling elated, I slipped into a silk robe Tina handed me and ventured back out into the store. Ellie had locked up and drawn the blinds, and to my surprise, I felt remarkably comfortable dressed as I was in her presence. With her help, Tina and I selected a few outfits, including a gorgeous cocktail dress and several pairs of shoes. After trying on each item, I emerged to seek Ellie's and Tina's opinions. As it was getting late, Tina and I made our final selections and proceeded to the register to make our purchases. With a beaming smile, Ellie asked if we could spare a bit more time so she could witness me all dolled up. Tina readily agreed on my behalf, asking, "Sure, what do you have in mind?" Ellie, the makeover expert, was eager to work her magic on me. We found ourselves in the rear of the store, where it turned out Ellie had an apartment. She led me to the bathroom, where a hot bath awaited. I sank into the tub and began to soak. Before long, Tina joined me and began to shave every inch of my body, except my head. As I soaked, Tina and Ellie chatted softly in the other room. When Tina returned, she helped me out of the tub and dried me off. Then, she handed me a white silk robe, which I quickly slipped into before following her back into the other room. Soon, I found myself adorned in a black corset, with garters holding up seamed silk stockings, while a matching black lace bra and panties completed my lingerie ensemble. Then came a red leather miniskirt and a black satin blouse, topped off with 4-inch stiletto heels. Ellie then worked her magic on me, applying a full face of makeup and adding long fingernails painted blood red. Finally, she placed a strawberry blonde wig on my head, styled in a seductive manner. As I stood up and gazed into the mirror, I couldn't believe how much I resembled a woman. I felt an overwhelming sense of satisfaction with this transformation. Perching on a stool, I didn't hesitate when Ellie snapped a photo with her camera. I was feeling too good to think twice. Around midnight, Tina informed me it was time to leave. However, when I went to retrieve my clothes, they were nowhere to be found. Both Tina and Ellie smiled knowingly, assuring me that what I was wearing would suffice for the ride home. I hesitated, voicing concerns that it wasn't Halloween, and what if something happened? Ellie seemed to anticipate my worries and handed me an ID card with the picture she had taken, bearing the name Windy, my new feminine identity. We bid farewell to Ellie's store, and as we drove off, I marveled at how good I felt and how convincingly I appeared as a woman. Just before reaching the interstate, Tina pulled into the parking lot of a small bar. With a smile, she beckoned, "Come on, Windy, let's go." Figuring why not, I grabbed my ID and tucked it into a small purse Tina had given me, and we entered the bar. There were only a handful of patrons inside, all men. As soon as we walked in, a couple of them approached, attempting to flirt. I left the talking to Tina, and when she turned them down flat, one of them remarked, "What, are you a couple of dykes?" Without missing a beat, Tina leaned in and planted a bold kiss on my lips. The stunned look on the guy's face was priceless. After finishing our drinks, we headed home. The ride was exhilarating for me, eager to change into one of my new teddies and once again feel the heat of our silken-clad bodies pressed against each other. Since our shopping spree, I've been dressing as Windy pretty much all the time when I'm at home. I've taken to wearing my sexy lingerie under my regular clothes almost every day. Tina's been coaching me in my efforts to adopt a more feminine voice, and I've managed to develop a soft tone that, while still somewhat deep for a woman, seems to be passable. With Tina's help, I've refined my walk and voice through videotaped sessions as Windy. Last week, Tina came home to find me dressed as Windy, as I usually am in the evenings. After taking a long look at me, she announced, "Okay, Windy, I think you are ready." Confused, I asked, "Ready for what?" With a smile, she replied, "Ready for our trip to Vegas." We had talked about going there for years but never got around to it. Now, Tina was determined to make it happen. So, we made reservations for the following weekend, booking a suite at the Panacea. I was thrilled for the trip, especially since I hadn't been to Vegas since Tina and I had been together. Even though our flight wasn't until 4:30 in the afternoon, we both took the day off work to avoid rushing. When I woke up, I found that Tina had already packed both our suitcases and was getting ready. It was then that I realized I wasn't going to Vegas with her. Tina explained that she was going with Windy instead. The idea both excited and terrified me. She had packed only Windy's clothes and had a new outfit laid out on the bed for me to wear on the plane. After a long, hot bath, Tina helped me shave extra close. Then, she began my makeover, taking extra care with my makeup and fingernails. My wig was auburn in color, slightly longer than shoulder length, and Tina styled it into a very sexy look. As I began to dress, I noticed the outfit Tina had picked out, a conservative linen dress in soft yellow with a floral print in various pastels. I wore a corset to achieve the proper shape, along with taupe stockings and a pair of white pumps with a modest 2-inch heel. As I finished getting dressed, I heard the doorbell ring. Our shuttle bus had arrived. Nervously, I answered the door and handed the driver our bags, whispering softly, "We'll be right out." So far, so good. The driver didn't seem to suspect that I was actually a man. We arrived at the airport just as the plane started boarding, leaving me no time to chicken out, a relief, really. Everything went smoothly, and before I knew it, Tina and Windy were settling into their suite at the Panacea. Flopping back onto the bed, I took a deep breath, hardly able to believe I was here, embodying Windy. I felt an intense urge to grab Tina and take her right then and there, but she refused, suggesting we change and grab something to eat instead. It was around 10 o'clock, and I agreed, shedding my conservative linen dress in favor of something more suited to the Vegas scene. I opted for a short satin dress in burgundy, adorned with lace trim around the neck and sleeves. Paired with a matching pair of 3-inch heels, it was a look I'd been itching to flaunt. Once dressed, Tina touched up my makeup, and we ventured out of our room. We dined at one of the casino's many restaurants before trying our luck at the slot machines. By the time we returned to our room, it was well past 4 a.m. I slipped into a pink baby doll, and Tina joined me in bed. Despite our exhaustion, the heat and passion between us ignited, and we indulged in hours of intense lovemaking until the early hours of the morning. We woke up late in the afternoon, with tickets to a show at 9 o'clock but no plans until then. After showering and dressing, Tina worked her magic on my makeup once more. Opting for a casual look, we decided to explore some of the other casinos. As we strolled around, I found myself beginning to think of myself more and more as a woman. The feeling only intensified when I casually followed Tina into the ladies' room and touched up my lipstick while she did the same. Upon returning to our room, we realized we were running a bit behind schedule. Fortunately, our dresses were already ironed and waiting for us. I slipped into a royal blue cocktail dress with a sheer neckline, paired with black seamed stockings and 4-inch spike heels. Tina's dress was of a similar style, but in jade green. Admiring ourselves in the mirror, we couldn't help but feel confident. We looked undeniably hot. After the show, we indulged in some blackjack and even a bit of craps in the casino. Despite several guys attempting to hit on us, I had no interest in them. Still, their attention, coupled with the occasional playful slap on the ass, oddly boosted my ego. Abruptly, Tina suggested we return to the room and change. Though I was content with my outfit, she insisted, and soon enough, we found ourselves back in our suite, swapping clothes once again. "Sorry to drag you away from your friends," Tina told me, "but this is our last night here, and I just have to see you in these new outfits I bought. I got them especially for this trip." She handed me my new ensemble, and I couldn't help but smile as I held it up against my body. Quickly dressing, eager to return to the casino, I donned a red leather miniskirt that barely covered the tops of my stockings, paired with a black silk and lace blouse. Tina's outfit matched mine, with her skirt in black and her blouse in red. Completing our look were a pair of 5-inch stilettos. After a quick touch-up of our makeup, we headed out. Even though it was late, heads turned as we entered the casino. We gambled until well after the sun came up before finally returning to our suite. The night's activities, especially my last outfit, had left me feeling incredibly aroused, like I was on fire. As soon as we were back in our room, Tina disappeared into the bathroom while I admired myself in the mirror. When Tina emerged, a mischievous grin played on her lips. "Come to me," she beckoned, and I eagerly complied. "Close your eyes and get down on your knees," she instructed. As I did so, she guided my hand up her smooth leg to her leather skirt. Unzipping it, I was met with a surprise. I felt a strap-on dildo. Opening my eyes in surprise, I hesitated, but Tina urged me on. "Go ahead, take hold of it," she encouraged. Tentatively, I grasped the dildo and began to stroke it. "Now, take it in your mouth," she ordered, guiding it between my lips. I complied, sucking and licking eagerly. Tina stepped back, leaving me on all fours, stretching my neck to keep sucking. She lifted my skirt, exposing my ass, and began to tease my asshole with her fingers, applying lotion to lubricate it. Pulling me to my feet momentarily, she then pushed me back onto the bed, spreading my legs and guiding them over my head. As she leaned in to kiss me, she guided her cock into my waiting pussy. Though it hurt at first, I soon found myself getting into it, realizing that I truly felt like a woman in that moment. Tina produced a long, two-headed dildo, and we each took an end, sucking on it eagerly. As she stroked my cock through my panties, I felt overwhelmed with sensation, eventually exploding in climax, my cum soaking my panties. Exhausted, we rested for a bit before changing into matching nightgowns and falling asleep. When I awoke, Tina was already up and dressed. After showering and getting ready for our flight home, I reflected on the incredible weekend. Not only had I spent it as Windy, but I'd also gained a taste of what it means to be a woman. I was certain that Tina would have more experiences like this in store for me, and who knows what else she might have up her sleeve.